1 Corinthians 1 and 10.
Read.
No, I beseech you, brethren,
We beseech you,
by the name of our Lord Yeshua,
Yeshua,
that ye all speak the same thing,
read on out,
and that there be no divisions among you,
make no provision for the flesh.
but that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind,
He who is spiritual judges all things.
and in the same judgment.
Our highest word is a light unto our path.
So tired of the fighting, debating on different doctrines. Now we just on the internet, Facebook, YouTube, man, kill that. Let's go back to when we first learned this truth. We was seeking, we was searching, we was thirsty for this word. We greet each other, we came in unity. But now we got puffed up with knowledge. Our pride got us divided. Now you can't tell us nothing. What happened to the peace, man? There's no love. We're supposed to be on one accord. This ain't no click thing. We gotta operate righteously in one body under Christ, man, to receive his promises, but we can't get that. Going off your own understanding. Ain't nothing changed, we're still the same. Look at us, we keep tearing this down. That's what they want. Do you get it? We just helping them out. We say we Yasharala, but we acting like some niggas, and it's a shame. And I'm just saying, we ain't got us, who got us? We say we Yasharala, but we acting like some niggas, and it's a shame. And I'm just saying, if we ain't got us, who got us, man? We need each other in order to stay together. No time for debating, let's just learn under one doctrine life. One mind, one love of the Most High. Yeah. We need each other in order to stay together. No time for debating, let's just build up our nation under one mind, one love of the Most High. Yeah.
The scriptures say we should be on one accord, not cause that discord. Confusion will arise, but you gotta wait for, not wish for. You tearing down your brother with no scripts, and I don't feel that. It's not right, kill that. He apologized, you still mad. God second penetrating you, letting him have his way with you. And it's futile, brother, cool down. You looking like an agent who high to.
How's everybody doing this evening? I'm sure Miss J got me on the big screen tonight. She got me on the big screen. You know, our other brothers and sisters, they're heading back. So I think the plane done landed, so they should be doing good. I don't expect Brother Desmond to join us tonight unless he do it on the plane or in the car or something. But we praise the Most High family as we enjoyed, you know, the Feast of Dedication. I know I was blessed. Thank my wife for putting everything together. Thank those who came out, was able to come out, you know, making sure that everything was nice. Hey, Miss Rose, how you doing? What's up, family? How y'all doing? Time to study and learn. That's right. Time to study and learn. So we're going to get right into our lesson this evening on iron sharpen iron, family. Iron sharpen iron. And so let's just turn to the verse. Let's check it out in the book of Proverbs, chapter 27, verse 17, family. Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17. Since we're dealing with our class this evening, let's just deal with the verse that stop this for a second. The verse that we always be dealing with, the verse we talk about. That is the verse. Let me get here. I think I want to go here first. Let me go here. So I'm going to go here first, and we'll come back. Which one I want to do? Okay, I see it right here. Okay, let's do one I'm familiar with. Okay, let's go here. This is the one that my wife be using, but I don't think I like that one. She like it. Let's go here. Okay, I'm gonna go this one. Okay, family, we're gonna look at let me make sure that y'all can see the same thing. I'm gonna get you there. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want this here. So we're gonna do Proverbs, all right? Book of Proverbs, chapter 27, family, verse 17. Which is going to be just dealing with our class this evening. You see the verse that we're looking at, Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17. I can't see it that good. Okay, so we see it here. As we see it here, as iron sharpen iron. Matter of fact, I'm just going to go to what I'm familiar with. As iron sharpen iron, so does a man sharpen the countenance of his friend. Let me go to the verse I like. Let me get here. I got to stick with this here. I'm just trying something new. So since we're dealing with the book, our class this evening, which is iron sharpen iron, right, family? So we call this iron sharpen iron. So when we look at this verse in Hebrew, let me make sure everybody can see it. Yeah, everybody can see it. Okay. So when we look at this verse in Hebrew, right? We look at it in Hebrew. Right here is our verse, our text. Iron sharpen iron, so a man sharpen the countenance of his friend. So let's look at this a verse in Hebrew, family. We have the word here. It's right here with the bet zah, all right? But notice that both of these words are the same. There's only a extra bet in this word here. Now, when I look at the word bet in this verse here, it's like a double. It doubled it, right? And so understanding what bet means in Hebrew, which means it's like a prefix, something to add to, or it can mean in. So we're talking about iron sharpen iron. And so notice it has to come from within. What do you mean? Well, a person cannot sharpen you if they don't have it within them. I want you to keep that in mind. This is why this have a double bet, which means house, which means in. So as we're looking at this word that is named after our class, iron sharpen iron. Why is that important? Because when we talk about iron sharpen iron, family, get here. So when we talk about iron sharpen iron, we're talking about two things that is alike. I want to say that again. When we talk about iron sharpen iron, we're talking about two things that are alike. Iron sharpen iron. I never seen anyone try to sharpen a knife by using a stick. It doesn't work, family. It doesn't work. So when we're talking about iron sharpen iron, and it says here that it said, as iron sharpen iron, so a man sharpen the face of panah of his friend. So if your friend, now listen to this, family. Listen to this here. If your friend is not sharpening you, okay, sharpen you. If your friend is not sharpening you or making you better, okay, then I don't know why that person is your friend, because they ought to sharpen you. It's to improve you. It's to challenge you. Why? Because I'm iron and you iron. And so because we are dealing with a subject or title, whatever it may be, that we're going back and forward as scholars, not arguing, not debating, right? So we're going over a topic. And so because you say this, I say, well, the scripture says this. Then you say, well, this scripture says this here. So by us going back and forward, not debating, not arguing, but going over a text. And at the end of the, if you want to call it a debate or a study, then you can see how it has improved you. That's why we call this class Iron Sharpen Iron, because why? When you come on here, you ought to leave this study time better. Something sharpened you. Something gave you a little, just another insight It just sharpen you. That's what it says. Iron sharpen iron. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to look it up in, I'm going to go to this section here. I'm going to go to which one I was going to look at. I'm going to look at Strong's, right? The same verse. Okay, so let me get here. We'll break it down into Strong's. Come on, don't do that. Why you keep doing that? Okay. Okay, now, so now watch here. So now we're going to go to this verse. Make sure everybody can see that. Let me get here. Okay, so everybody can see that. I'll move. I want you to think about this here, that the sharper a knife is, that people spend money, right, ladies? People spend money on sharp knives. Sharp knives cost a lot. Am I right? Sharp knives cost a lot. Am I right? So, and you know, because I remember that when Miss J, I don't know if it was her or her brother, gave me a sharp set of knives, right? A sharp set of knife. And my first experience with these sharp knives is that I went to cut something and the knife is so sharp, I cut my hand the first time. Why? Because these knives are sharp. And it's amazing that when we know ourselves that these knives are sharp, we'll tell a person, hey man, hey, don't mess with that knife, man. That knife is sharp. Be careful how you cut with that knife because that knife is sharp. Am I right? Because why? That knife has went through a process. So when we talk about iron, sharpen iron, okay? To sharpen a iron, to sharpen a knife, it must be about the same force, family. You just can't barely just move it like this here. No. It got a friction, right? Sparks has to be shown. So when I'm talking about iron sharpen iron, I'm talking about the person that you spend time with. Are they sharpening you? Are they sharpening you? Think about that. The people that you spend most time with, are they sharpening you? Are they making your skills better? This is very important, family. I don't sit around for hours and hours just shooting the breeze. I love to leave a conversation when I learn something from you. You learn something from me. That's why the Shabbat is a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity that is wasted. I hear a lot of talking. I guess, I'm used to open up the books, and on the Shabbat, when I used to hang out with me and my brother Eddie, even when we came back from the Shabbat, when we was going to Bet Messiah off the Beltway, we came back, went to his house, and we was there for hours and hours, just open up the books, you know what I'm saying? Sitting there, got the football game going because it's Saturday, the Shabbat, got a little bottle of wine sitting there, but we got the word open. We sharpen each other, asking critical questions. So when we talk about on the Shabbat, look, listen, the Shabbat is a time to study. A Shabbat is a time to study. That's why it's called the house of study. I see my mother-in-law has come in. I see my brother has come in. So me personal, ask yourself on the Shabbat when you're sitting around dialoguing, those conversations that you can have 6 days a week. But on the Shabbat, I'm going to tell you how you can grow, man. Let's open up what was taught and glean from that. Because why? I can never finish anything on the Shabbat anyhow. Why? Because I'm trying to teach a little here and so we can fellowship. But iron sharpen iron. The Shabbat is a great opportunity, family. Now watch this. So we're going to go back here and I'm going to show you here. Dealing with our subject, the name of our class, Iron Sharpen Iron. That's what it's called on Monday. So iron, right? The definition, you see it right here, is iron. Meaning iron, any kind of material, furniture, utensil, implement, iron, tool, strength, or just oppression, right? Then so we have iron here. And family is used. I know that some of you might not be familiar with this here, but watch this here. Sharpen. It means to be sharpened, to be alert, to be a king, to be sharpened, to be keen or high alert, right? And it's used in the Hipfa'el, the sharpen, or it can be used in Hopfa'el, to be sharpened. So these verb stems, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. This verb stem, Hipfa'el, and then call is going to be used in the call or the Hipfa'el. These tell you in the tense what these verbs mean. I'm going to show you in a minute what these verbs. So keep in mind these verbs, but it's telling you this verb is in the Hipfa'el. So what does that mean? Okay, I'm going to show you. So in the Hipfa'el, in my book, in this book here, Ancient Hebrew, on page 38, we have what is called the verb stems to show you how that word is used. Right here, you see the verb stems. On this side here, family, on this side here, you see the verb stems. Those are called the verb stems. Y'all see that, right? The verb stems. So we're going to look at the one that we saw. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the fifth one. Okay, the fifth one. There are 7 verb stems. So the one that is mentioned in this verse is in the Hipfa'el verb stem. So it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the fifth one. The fifth one. Watch this here. So it's the fifth one. You see it? It's the fifth one. Hipfa'el. These are the verb stems telling you how the word is used. So what does that mean, Pastor? So it's used in the Hipfa'el. It means a causative active, meaning that he's doing it. It means, and the example is he made the cut. He made the cut. Nobody else did. So it's an active. So when we talk about the verse in Proverbs, when we talk about iron sharpen iron, it's something. It's a verb. It's a verb, but it's an active verb. It's something that you are doing. Like when you come in on iron sharpen iron, you're coming. Okay, you're coming, and at the end of the class, you ought to be sharpened, a little sharpened, right? And remember, the more you sharp that thing, you're getting rid of the rust. You're getting rid of the, you know what I'm saying? Why? Because it's been used. It's been used. And so to stay sharp, you got to hang around somebody that's sharp. Am I right? Did that make sense? To hang around, to be sharp is to hang around somebody that's sharp, family. Bar none. Okay, I want to look at a verse here. I want to go to, let me get here. Let me see where I want to go. I want to look at Matthew chapter 28. Very familiar verse, family. Matthew chapter 28. We're probably going to start at verse 18. Matthew 28. Verse 18. Very familiar verse, family. So let me get here. Let me do the King James. I'm going to do the one that my wife like to use. This is what we call the Great Commission. Okay, the Great Commission. Okay, let me get there. Add you on here. Shalom, Monique. How you doing, everyone? We had Matthew chapter 28, family. Matthew chapter 28. We're gonna read. Let me get there. Matthew chapter 28. We'll pick it up, family, in verse 16. Okay, 16 through 20. Matthew chapter 28, verse 16 through 20. Then the 11 went away into Galilee in a mountain where Yahuwah had appointed them. And when they saw him, they worshiped him. But some doubted. And Yeshua or Yahushua came and spoke to them, saying, all power and authority is given unto me in heaven and earth. Go you therefore and teach all nations, baptize them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Ruach Kodesh, the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you do, and I am with you always to the end of the world. Right? So we have heard that, but I want to bring out something, family. I want to bring out something. Let me get back to what I like in this in Talina version here. So now I'm going to take you to the verse and what I want you to see. I want to talk tonight about discipleship, the lost art of discipleship. Listen, family, this is very important. Let me talk to you about the lost art of discipleship. One of the things that we do not understand in the Western world is what is called discipleship. Discipleship. And one of the problems that we have in the Western world with discipleship, because we have grown up, listen what I'm about to say, we have grown up in a independent Western world. Lone Ranger, Batman, Robin, and Superman, all these independent heroes, right? And so by subconscious, these things enter into your subconscious. What's up, LC? These things enter into your subconscious. But discipleship is an ancient a doctrine that has been taught for generation, family. But in the 21st century, we carry, whether we know it or not, we carry Albert Pipe or this Albert Pipe and Alex Crosty mindset, do as thou will. People, let me tell you, people don't understand. Do as thou will, that's from Alex Crosty. When you want to do what you want to do, that's not a kingdom mindset. So we're going to talk about kingdom discipleship. So when I take you to this verse, right? When I take you to the book of Matthew, when I show you this here, right, family? So as we look into this verse, it's going to bless you. Have your ears open, family. The Messiah says in this verse, he tells them to go, right? He said, go into all the world. And then he says here, go into all the world, right? And then he called, right? He called his disciples. He said, all authority in heaven on earth has been given to me. Therefore, what? Make disciples. Look at the strong number, family. 3,100 disciples. What? Excuse me. A disciple. Now, what is a disciple? We're going to talk about that, family. Disciple, the strong number right here, family. A disciple, 3,100. Let's talk about that, family. Let's talk about, watch this here. So when I go to my Strongs, just my James Strongs or just this Strongs right here, I look it up in the Greek for those who have it. What is a disciple? For notice that the context is not Christian, family. The word disciple. Now watch this, family, because I'm going to deal with two words tonight. The word disciple, right? It's mentioned, family. Let me get here. I'm gonna show you all the books I'm using, family. The word disciple. This is my old Strong's. Some of you probably ain't used this in years. My old Strong's. This is you can buy this from any Bible bookstore. And I look up the word discipleship. In this book, everything is here from A to Z. Everything is in order, family. So we're talking about discipleship. Messiah said, go into all the world and make disciples. All right? That was his last words given to his disciples on the Mount of Olives, is to make disciples, not to make Christians. We're going to deal with the word Christian in a minute too. So when I look at the word disciple, first let's deal with the word Christian for a moment, because people love to call themselves Christian, right? People love to call themselves Christian. Don't you know that the word Christian is only used 3 times in the whole New Testament? Oh, we're going to deal with that, family. The word Christian is only used 3 times in the whole Old Testament. I mean, in the New Testament, 3 times. So let's deal with the word Christian for a moment. Let's go to Acts chapter 11, verse 26. Acts chapter 11, verse 26. Because there is a difference. He did not say go into the world and make Christians. He did not. He said, go and make disciples. What is a disciple? We're going to look at that in a minute. But let's check out the word Christian for a moment. Okay. So Acts chapter 11, verse 26. Anybody going to put it in there for me? Acts chapter 11, verse 26. Come on, family. For those that coming in, I ain't got my brother Mitchell here, but Acts chapter 11, verse 26. Someone put it in the tab so people that's coming in later can see it, okay? Acts chapter 11, verse 26. It'd be good if I grab I got so many Bibles around here. Which one I'm going to use? Okay. I just go here. I don't know what I'm doing. So we're going to go Acts, right? So let's go to Acts. Acts chapter 11. Might as well get good in using this thing. Acts chapter 11, verse 26, family. Verse 26. Okay. All right. So now notice, it says, as he went to Tarsus, he seeks Saul, and having found him, he brought him to Antioch. Watch this here. And he brought him, verse 26, and having found him, he brought him to Antioch. Antioch is a city of Athens, or Greek city, okay? And it came to pass now that the whole year, well, man, they also whole year gathered together in the ecclesia, right? And taught a large crowd, large. And we have here where first in Antioch. Well, in Antioch, the disciples, remember he said, go and make disciples. In Antioch, which is a pagan city, they was called Christian. They did not call themselves Christian. It was for some reason in Antioch that the disciples was called Christians. I want you to see that. Write the other verses down because we ain't going to go to the other verses. But in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 16, and Acts chapter 26, verse 28, I'm going to say it again. And 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 16, and Acts chapter 26, verse 28. But I want you to see here that the first time the word is used when it says that they was called. They did not call themselves that, okay? Now watch this, family. Watch this. They was first called Christian in Antioch, okay? Now watch this here. I'm going to glean from, this is the IVP background scholarship. I try to get all books on scholars. I don't want no just personal commentary. I don't want books that people just say, well, this is what I think. No, give me a culture background, working with the language, very important, family. So I'm going to read one of the scholars' note on Acts chapter 11, verse 26. This is iron sharpen iron. Am I right? This is iron sharpen iron. Am I right? All right, then. This iron sharpen iron. Now, watch this here. I'm reading the scholar's notes on 11:26. Christians occur in the New Testament only here, right? As a nickname. This is a scholar. These ain't no weak people I'm quoting from, all right? He said that the word Christians occur in the New Testament only here as a nickname given by outsiders. Given by what? Outsiders. And in 1 Peter 4:16, the verse I gave you earlier, and sometimes as a legal charge. But watch this here. But he goes on to say, make sure that I'm good. Make sure my ringer off too anyhow. Because this show wasn't off. Okay, gotcha. So he goes on to say that it was a nickname, right? But he goes on to say that it could be stirred as, now, let me just tell you what the guy says. But here, talking about here in Antioch, you say, but here it is apparent a function merely as a derision, as a ridicule or a mockery. Are y'all hear me? So, in other words, the disciples did not call themselves Christians. It was a mockery term. And if you do any other research, you can see that the term can be also means it can also mean idiot as you do more studying. But I'm not here to debate that or talk about that. I just want to show you what the scholars said. But when we look at Matthew chapter 28, I'm talking about discipleship. Discipleship, family. Now, why is this important? Because a disciple has to have a teacher. You cannot disciple yourself. Can I get a witness? You cannot disciple yourself. You cannot disciple yourself. Just as a child cannot discipline himself. The scripture says that a child that left to his own will bring shame to his mother. Why the mother? I don't know. So we're looking at disciple, right? Now, 3 times. Now, watch this here, family. 3 times we have the word discipleship or Christian in the text. Once again, gleaning from Strong's, okay? I didn't make this up. So I'm gleaning from this book here, Strong's. So now, what about the word disciple? Because the Messiah says, go and make disciples. But I'm going to show you the first time. We're going to look at the first time the word disciple is used. Okay? But I'm going to say this here first. That the word disciple is used over 243 times. 243 times in the New Testament. But guess what? Somehow we love to claim something that they didn't call themselves. They did not call themselves Christians. Just because somebody else called me something, that don't mean I got to take on the title. But the disciples, I'm going to show you, they never used that term towards themselves. So once again, what is a disciple? Watch this, family. A disciple, reading from the Strong's, I showed you early, okay? It says here, Strong number 31, right? 3100 or 3101. It comes from 3929, Strong number, right? It literally means this, family. It literally means a student. It literally means a pupil, a follower of who? A teacher. A disciple. So when the Mushiach says in Matthew 11:28, he say, come into me, all ye that 11 burden, and take upon my yoke and follow me. So he's encouraging us to follow him. He said, come to me. So a disciple is a student. A disciple is a learner. Very important, family. So when we look at the word disciple, or the number of times that disciple is used in the text, over 243 times, family. Those many times, family. I wish I had my other stuff I can pull up, but for some reason, it's just not coming up. So I don't know if y'all will be able to see this or not. Probably not. I wish I could too. Move this out the way, all up. I sure wanted y'all to see it. Let's see, is it going to come up now? Nope. All right, then. So I'm just have to go back and forth, but I'm okay with that. So now let's check out disciple, right? So what is a disciple? We saw that it is a student, a learner, one who is learning. So what we're going to do now, family, we're just going to look at the master teacher himself, Yeshua HaMashiach, or Yahushua. He had disciples. He trained them. So let's look at some things. I wish y'all can see it, but you can't. Let's go to Matthew chapter 4, verse 18 and 19. So I'm just have to go back and forward, but I'm okay with that. Matthew chapter 4, verse 18 and 19. Because I don't want to grab my book, because I don't want to go back and forward. All right. Matthew, right? Now watch this, family. So Matthew, I can do this here. Where you at? The book of Matthew, right? Chapter 4, verse 18 and 19. Listen what he says. And Yeshua, walking by the Sea of Galilee, saw two brethren, Simon, called Peter, and Andrew, his brother, casting nets into the sea. For they were what? Fishermen. They had a job, family business. And he said unto them, what? Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. So notice that a disciple is a follower of a teacher. That's why that the disciples came to him one day and say, teach us to pray as John taught his disciples to pray. The Pharisees had disciples. I'm talking about a first century understanding what it means to be a disciple is to be hooked up with a teacher that understand the word. So a disciple is a follower of a teacher. Not every teacher, but he has a teacher. So watch this here. So if Yeshua has followers, and I understand what we call the Great Commission, that I am to make disciples. It's a hard process dealing with a Western mindset. Being a Christian and being a disciple is two different things. Discipleship, watch this, family. Discipleship brings forth commitment. There are three things that you must understand when it comes to discipleship. Write these down, family. First, commitment. Commitment. Oh, most people running already. No, I want to be able to come when I come. If I don't want to come, I don't come. No, that you ain't no disciple. You ain't no disciple. I'm trying to teach us first century what it is to be a disciple. That's what we're dealing with. But when you still thinking independent, You ain't no disciple. Had to catch myself. Family. Because why? When he says, now watch this here. We say that Yahuwah is Yah manifest in the flesh, right? That Yah spirit was in him. He said, go in the Greek. I mean, in the Hebrew, he said, go and make. Asa. In Hebrew, asa, make disciple. It is the same word, family. It's the same word when the Most High said, come, let us make man. Make man. Man was not thrown together. To make man is he got down and formed man out of the dust of the ground. So making disciple is hands-on, family. It's hands-on. But if I can't put my hands on you because you ain't never there, if you ain't never there, discipleship is commitment. First, are you committed to the Shabbat? Oh, I'm just, God know my heart, and it doesn't matter. What? Who is your teacher? If I'm your teacher, I'm your teacher. Then you my students. And it's my job, as he said in Jeremiah 3:15, I will give you shepherds after my own heart. I'm trying to teach us first century. So 3 things about a disciple. He or she has to be committed, and then sacrifice, family. Sacrifice. It takes sacrifice to become a disciple. Peter and them was working their boat. Peter and them had a career. And the Mushiach passed by and say, follow me. They left. Family. They left their career to follow the Mushiach, the Messiah. Let me ask you, what have you left to follow the Messiah? Listen, when it comes to first century, we got to get back, family. I'm trying to get us back, family, to the first century discipleship. It's a call. There's no independent. I wish someone tell me face to face. There ain't no independent biblical people that's out there by themselves. That ain't discipleship. That's all it crossed it. That's do as thy will. Prove to me that you can just disciple yourself. That ain't biblical, family. That ain't biblical. That is not biblical. Discipling yourself. That is not biblical. That is a lack of commitment. That is a lack of sacrifice. That is a lack of faithfulness. You won't grow like that. I didn't make this up. I didn't ordain this here. Messiah said, go, make disciples, make students, make pupils. So he passed by and see the disciples, right? Or Peter and them in their boat. And he said, follow me. Am I right? He said, follow me. Now watch this here, family. Let's go to 1 Peter. 1 Peter chapter 2. 1 Peter chapter 2. First Peter chapter 2. Now, if you are a disciple, this is a must. 1 Peter chapter 2. Let's start at verse 1. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. He says here, therefore, laying aside all malice, all deceit, hypocrisy, envy, and all evil speaking. As newborn babes, you see that? As newborn babes, you're born again. As newborn babes, desire the pure milk of the word of Yah, Why, Peter? That you may grow thereby. Peter said you are to desire the sincere milk of the word of Yah. Where's your desire, family? Who's feeding you? If you're connected to the Bet Midrash, the house of study, and you're not there week after week, who's feeding you? I am the shepherd, the watch over your soul. We don't have no revolving door like Christianity, in and out, and they don't care if you was there or wasn't there. It doesn't matter to them. Who's feeding you, family? Who's feeding you? Watch this here. Let me get this here. Man, that's why I wish I had my thing here. Okay. Watch this here. Who's feeding you, family? Who's feeding you? Very important. Who's feeding you? Who's feeding you? Remember, Ms. Rose said, okay, I know I will have to give account. See, listen, let me go on record, family. There is no growth without commitment. There's no growth without commitment. There's no growth without sacrifice. There's no growth without, listen, faithfulness. This is kingdom thing. This is kingdom thing. And so I'm talking about the lost art of discipleship. So to follow, as Shaul says in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1, he said, follow me as I follow the Mashiach. So I say the same thing. Follow me as I follow the Mashiach. I thank Yah for his faithfulness by calling me into the ministry. So I must teach the unadulterated word. I must teach those who sit under me. Iron sharpen iron, to feed you and to keep us, you know what I'm saying, to keep us in the fold so that we won't become independent like most of people in America, because we all grew up with this independent mindset. Nobody can tell me nothing. Nobody can tell me what to do. No, that's not discipleship. That's not discipleship, family. So now, as we look at, let me show you something here. As we look at this word here, right? So in the 1 Peter, we looked up the word babe. So let's look at this word here, babe, in 1 Peter. As newborn babes, right? He said as newborn babes. As newborn babes. Watch this, family. As newborn babes. Strong number 1025. Watch this, family. In the Greek. So as newborn babes, we all starting at babes, being born again, right? So we're going to look at, let's see what I want to look at. We're going to look at the stages of how you grow as babes. Let's see, do I got it here? I want to make sure. Okay, yeah. I'm going to use this here. Okay, I'm going to use this here. So now, what we're going to do now, family, we're going to look at, because everybody got to come in this way. Everybody, family. So we're going to look at 4 stages of developing a disciple. 4 stages, family. 4 stages. You don't jump from out of the womb and to pre-K to high school. Even there's a development as you're growing natural. Am I right, family? There is a stage. And when a person growth is stunned because of some disability, we know that person has a disability. Though he might be 30 or 40, but he has a child mind. Well, we understand why he or she had that, because of their disability, their mental state. Now, we understand that, right? Then, if a believer has a mental state, then he won't be able to grow. Oh, y'all hear me? If a believer has a mental state, then he or she won't be able to grow. So let's talk about 4 stages of discipleship growth. 4 stages, family. And at the end of this teaching, family, I want you to see and be honest with yourself. What stage are you? What stage am I? Very important, family. So the first one that we see in Peter, right? We saw in Peter, it's called a breatha. So when Peter said, as a newborn babe, desire the sincere milk of the word. This stage is the stage of a newborn babe. We all, according to John chapter 3, that we all must be born from above. So when we are born again, we must have a desire for the word. Why? That we may grow. If there's no desire, you won't grow, family. You won't grow. So when I look at believers or disciples that say that they are disciples and there's no hungry or thirst for the word, I know something is wrong. Any parent will tell you that if they bring home a new baby from the hospital and that baby is not eating, the mother grow concerned. Am I right, ladies? They grow concerned. Okay, maybe just sleep right now. But at the more time pass by, the urges or the concern even grow deeper. Am I right? And so after a while, she said, I got to go back to the hospital because he or she's not eating, right? That's a concern. So as a shepherd, what should be any different from me as a shepherd? If I have students or disciples that are not eating, should not I be concerned too? Should not I be concerned too? So in this stage, at the breatha stage, which is BREPHOS, breatha. This is the newborn stage, family. The new birth or being born again. We read 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 2 and 2. Let's look at another one here. Let's look at 1 Peter, back in 1 Peter again. We still there, 1 Peter chapter 1. Verse 23. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 23. Having been born again. You see that, family? Having been born again, not of corruptible seed, but incorruptible, through the word of Elohim, which liveth and abideth forever. Okay? Notice what Peter said again. Having been born from above. So this is the breatha stage. This is the stage that we come in, family. We don't know nothing, family. It's just a stage we come in. And this stage, family, I'm reading again from the Strong's. It's the breatha. It means an infant, a baby, family, a baby. A baby don't know nothing. All a baby do when a person first come to the house of study in this great awakening that the Most High has opened our eyes and that you are new in this here. All you do is just drink the milk. Stay connected. Drink the milk. You're on milk, family. You're on milk. So it means infants. It is a noun meaning a child. Spoken of a child yet unborn or fetus. So use an infant. Use as an infant. Used as a metaphor for those who have just embraced the faith. Okay? For those who just embrace the faith. Watch this, family. Let's go to the book of Hebrews. Hebrews chapter 5. What time it is? Because I definitely want y'all to see this. So I'm gonna probably shut it down and pick it back up. What time it is? And my phone here. Oh, I think I dropped it. So because I definitely want y'all to see, family. Okay. What I've been, I started 8:30. Okay. So I'm not gonna be here long because I definitely want us to see the PowerPoint and to be much easier for all of us. Okay. So we see in this stage, family, that we see a child that is an infant, been born again, and Peter say, you had to have a desire, family. You got to have a desire for the word of Yah. Other than that, you won't grow. I don't care what nobody say. Sitting in front of hours and hours and hours and hours, listen to somebody else, on all these teachings. No. You have to sit under a teacher and be taught. Because when you look at the natural, just think about the women back in the day, right? When this letter was written, right? They didn't have bottles. So all the kids was breastfed, right? Breastfed. Am I right, ladies? Breastfed. So you think that this mother was just passing her child around to all the women in the camp? Breastfeed my child. Breastfeed my child. No. The mother took joy in breastfeeding her child. Well, it was Hebrews, right? Watch what he says here. Hebrews, family. Hebrews chapter 5, verse 12. Hebrews chapter 5, verse 12. For though by this time you ought to be teachers, you need someone to teach you again the first principle of the oracle of Elohim, and you have come to need milk and not solid food. Again, milk and not solid food. Everybody can't handle solid food, family. Everybody can't handle solid. You're a baby. We have to go through the stage. We don't like when kids try to act like they grown. We say, stop acting like you grown. Am I right? So the same thing, I like, stop acting like you grown. Grown spiritual. You're not. You're not. And how can we grow without discipline? How can we grow without discipline? Just as if the child left to itself, the child can't discipline itself. The child ain't going to want to discipline themselves. So when the time comes, you have need that one teach you again. But he said, listen, you have come to need milk and not solid food. These are people that ought to be in a certain position or certain knowledge, but they're not. They milk. Milk, family, we have to understand there is a growth process. A growth process. Why? Because when you're a babe, you're growing, and you're automatic have to be trained not to be selfish. Notice how we don't have to teach babies to be selfish. They'll snatch the pacifier or the toy from another child. And so we had to train them not to be selfish. Am I right? We had to train them. Now, you need to share now. You need to share now. Why? Because they're babies. They have to be trained. So the same thing spiritual. You have to be trained to share. All the things a baby had to go through in the natural is everything a spiritual baby had to go through. Just as a baby always want their way, and when they don't get their way, they start crying. Sometimes they won't even ask. They'll just start crying and want to get your emotions. And you come, oh, what's wrong, baby? What's wrong? And daddy ain't moved with none of that. You can cry all day long. Cry all day long. Because why? I ain't no sucker. Come on now. I see people do it spiritual. Just walk around now, with the sad face. Listen. It's no different because I understand these stages of discipleship. I see it. How a person can think they're here, but they really there. So a breath fire, a baby, won't they wait? And when they get upset, then the baby gone and crawl away. It's no different, family. It's no different. It's no different. So we talk about the breastfeed stage. We talk about the newborn stage to grow. So what I'm going to do, family, I know it's short, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to shut down because I definitely want us to be able to see the PowerPoint. I'm going to have to see how did I put it on here the last time. And so I'm going to shut it down right now. We've been on here an hour. I know that's short for y'all. But I'm gonna shut it down this evening, and then we will possible if nothing comes up, we'll pick it back up on Iron Sharpen. Freestyle Thursday if nothing set it out. Okay. Well, family, I appreciate everyone tuning in this evening. I heard that the Pastor Jay and the family, everybody done made it back, so that's why you probably don't see them on here tonight. So we praise the Most High for bringing them back home safely, watching over them, keeping them. I thank everyone once again, family, for coming out day one on Hanukkah and the last day. We really enjoyed it. Thank everyone who sold into the ministry to keep the ministry up and running, keeping the lights on. I really praise Yah for that, family. Can't wait to see my mother-in-law. Can't wait to see you. You know I got them kingdom wings. I got them kingdom wings for you. Got them kingdom wings for you. Waiting on you. Fresh out of the grease. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So thank you once again, my students, my Talmudim, my disciples. Thank you for tuning in on this Iron Sharpen Iron. That's what we here, family, to sharpen one another. She says she ready, huh? She said, I'm ready. So let's pray. Abba Yah, we thank you, Abba Yah, that, for our journey as in the Christianity. We took proud, being a Christian. But the truth is that you call us to be disciples. You call us to be students. You call us to be learners. And Father, I just pray that as we develop this discipleship training, that we would locate where we at, and not try to put ourselves in a grade that we not. And if we need to be held back because of our lack of growth, then let it be spiritual, Father. Let it be. Because the worst thing that a teacher can do is to pass a child when a child has not learned. So I just pray as we learn that by your spirit that you will lead us and guide us. And I'm a student too, Abba, that you will teach us. And so I thank you for that. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Israel. May Jehovah bless thee and keep thee. May Jehovah make his face shine upon thee and be glory to thee. May Jehovah lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. May Jehovah destroy all the chaos in your life. May Jehovah cause you to prosper as Ephraim and Manasseh, and they shall put my name upon them, and I will bless them. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Shalom, family. See you a couple of days. Mother-in-law, see you in a couple of days. Miss Rose, Miss Jefferson, my brother, Adam, LC, Monique, all of y'all, we thank y'all for tuning in. My wife, thank you, family. Peace out. Shalom. I ain't even playing no music. I'm just shutting it down. Shalom, family.